Okay, let's just jump right in. We're going to be talking about a 1,500-year-old rule book.
Right. And it basically created the blueprint for how we organize things in Europe, even today.
We're talking about the Rule of St. Benedict.
Yeah.
And it's not just about religion. It's about structure, efficiency, and, well, creating stability when the world was falling apart.
To really get it, you have to picture what was going on. This whole idea of monasticism, it didn't even start in Europe.
It was in the deserts, right? Egypt and Syria?
Exactly. People wanted to focus on their faith, so they went out into the desert to get away from the noise and distractions of the city. They became hermits.
But living totally alone, that's incredibly hard and probably pretty dangerous.
It is. So they quickly realized they needed to live in groups for safety, for support. But there was a problem.
No rule book.
No rule book. And the first attempts were, well, they were extreme, really harsh. They focused on intense physical challenges, long periods of silence. It was just too much for the average person.
So people would just burn out or leave.
Constantly. They'd wander from one community to another looking for something that worked. And that's the problem Benedict steps in to solve.
Okay, so let's talk about the man himself, St. Benedict. He was born around 480 in Italy to a wealthy family.
And they sent him to Rome to get a good education.
But he was really disappointed by what he saw there. The city life, the way people were behaving. He just couldn't stand it. So he dropped out.
He did. He left everything and went to find total isolation. He lived in a cave near a place called Subiaco for 3 years.
And of course, when someone does something that intense, people notice. His reputation grew, and soon people were seeking him out for guidance.
Which led to his first real challenge.
Yeah.
Trying to organize a group of monks, and it did not go well.
They found his rules too strict, and someone actually tried to poison him.
A really important lesson for him, I think. You can't just create rules for the most extreme people. You need a system that works for everyone.
So he moves. He finds this high hill, Monte Cassino, right between Rome and Naples.
A very strategic spot. It was the site of an old pagan temple, and he builds his monastery right on top of it.
And the design of this place was key. He planned it to be completely self-sufficient.
Gardens for food, workshops for tools, for clothing, everything. The idea was that the monks would almost never have to leave the grounds.
And that self-reliance made the monastery a place of stability for everyone living nearby. It became a model for thousands of other religious houses all across Europe.
So let's get into the rule itself. It's a book, 73 chapters, of instructions for how to live together in a community.
And the genius of it, like you said, was balance. It wasn't supposed to be as harsh as those early desert communities.
No, he called the monastery a school for the service of the divine. It was a place to learn how to be a better person.
And the rule was the curriculum. It created harmony, shared standards, a daily routine, so that no time was wasted.
And at the very top of this structure was the leader, the abbot.
The abbot was supposed to be like a father to the community. He was responsible for the spiritual well-being of every single monk. He had to be wise and fair.
And the monks had to obey him instantly. But, and this is a huge but, the rule also demanded that the abbot consult the monks before any big decisions were made.
So wait, how does that work? On one hand, you have total obedience, but on the other, you have consultation.
It's the check and balance.
Yeah.
The abbot has the final say, yes, but he is required to listen to the community, he has to lead by example, and he's ultimately accountable for how he treats people. It was a very early form of consultative management.
Okay, let's talk about daily life, the actual schedule. This is what made the whole thing run.
It's all summed up in that famous Latin phrase, ora et labora.
Work and pray.
That's it. A really strict schedule. Monks would wake up super early, way before dawn, for the first of many communal prayers.
And in between all the praying, they were working.
Hard manual labor, farming, cleaning, repairing walls, whatever needed to be done to keep the monastery running.
The point was to keep them busy, right?
Yeah.
To prevent laziness.
Exactly. Benedict believed that idleness was, quote, the enemy of the soul.
Now, monks took vows, but Benedict added a really unique one.
Yes, the vow of stability.
What did that mean exactly?
It meant you promised to stay in that one specific monastery for your entire life.
Wow.
Yeah, this was a huge deal. It stopped monks from just running away when things got tough.
So it forced them to work through their problems together.
Precisely. And it built these permanent, stable institutions that became deeply connected to the local villages. They were anchors.
This all ties into the focus on obedience and humility. Obeying the abbot quickly was supposed to help you let go of your own selfish desires.
Right. And humility was the main goal. Benedict described it as a ladder with 12 steps.
A ladder.
Yeah, a process for learning how to put the needs of the community before your own. True greatness, for Benedict, came from serving other people.
And that also meant a total rejection of personal wealth.
Absolutely. Monks owned nothing, not even a pen or a book without the abbot's permission.
Everything was shared.
Everything was shared based on need. This stopped jealousy and made sure everyone was equal. If you wanted to join, you had to give away all your money to the poor first. The focus had to be spiritual, not material.
Okay, so we know what life was like inside the walls, but the rule had a huge impact on the outside world too. Let's talk about hospitality.
This was a strict requirement. The rule said you had to welcome every guest as if they were Christ himself.
Every guest, no matter who they were.
Every single one. It didn't matter if they were rich or poor. In a world with very few safe places to stay, monasteries basically became the first hotels and rest stops for travelers,
Offering food and shelter to anyone who showed up.
which made them a refuge. If there was a war or a famine, people knew they could go to the monastery and they would be helped.
And maybe their biggest contribution of all was in education
Mm.
and preservation.
Oh, absolutely. Monasteries became the centers of learning. Monks spent hours and hours in a special room called a scriptorium.
The copying room.
Exactly. They would copy books by hand onto parchment, which is made from animal skin. It was incredibly difficult work. A single book could take a year to copy.
And without that work, so much would have been lost.
Almost everything. Ancient Greek and Roman texts on philosophy, science, history, they would have just vanished. The monastic libraries were the largest libraries in Europe at the time. They literally saved Western knowledge.
They also taught local kids how to read and write.
Yep. They set up schools, spreading literacy beyond their own walls.
So when you pull it all together, Benedict's influence is, it's just staggering. His rules are still followed today by thousands of monks and nuns.
And even outside of religion, his ideas about balance, community, and hard work are still inspiring. Many historians would say his rule gave Europe the organizational blueprint it needed to rebuild society after the Roman Empire collapsed.
It's amazing that such a simple set of rules could organize huge communities and, preserve critical knowledge across centuries.
It really shows that structure and a commitment to selfless service are the keys to creating anything that lasts.
So it wasn't just about faith, it was about process. Structure itself was the engine. Good luck with your studies.